Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am doing my first book review today. I'm going to be reviewing Cassandra Clare's book, City of Bones. It is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. It's book 1 out of 5 so far. This book was published in March of 2007 and it is 485 pages long. So if you aren't familiar with the synopsis of this book, I'm going to put what is on the back in a clip. So that's what this book is kind of about. That's what the back of the book says. This book is about Clary Fray. She is 15 in the book. She turns 16 in one of the chapters, and her best friend is Simon Lewis. They go to this club and Clary witnesses a murder. She witnesses a demon being murdered by these people called shadow hunters who are not much older than her, and they're really strange people because they have these like black markings all over them. So after she witnesses this murder, her mom goes missing and she herself was attacked by a demon, and one of the shadow hunters that she meets at the club, Jace Wayland, comes to her rescue and takes her to the New York Institute, where she formally meets Alec and Isabel Lightwood and Hodge, and she starts to learn about the shadow hunter world. And then she learns about her past, which she didn't think was her actual past, because her past has always been hidden from her. She doesn't know who her real father is. She doesn't know anything about her mom or anything like that, but she is thrust into this world, and Hodge, who is the leader of this institute in New York, he tells her about the circle, and he tells her all about how Valentine used to run this circle. She quickly learns that her mother, Jocelyn, was not who she thought she was. In fact, she is a shadow hunter, and therefore, by blood, Clary is also one. But she was hidden from this through her entire life. She was taken to this warlock named Magnus Bane, and he erased her, her sight. So after she learns that she's a shadow hunter, she starts learning about bits and pieces about the shadow world and how the shadow hunters work, and how all of these werewolves, demons, vampires, these creatures exist, and how humans, or mundanes as they call them, can't see through the glamours that these creatures put up. So shadow hunters and demons and werewolves and all of that, they put up these things called glamours, which mask their actual appearance. And the sight, which Clary has and everyone else in this shadow world has, can see through these glamours, but humans like us, we can't. So like the institute looks like a church, and the you learn that the werewolf packs police station looks like a Chinese restaurant and all of that, and the shadow hunters can put glamours up to make themselves look invisible or like something completely different than what they look like, which I think is really cool. So now on to the actual book review. So if you are coming from my other channel, I was talking about a few books that I was reading, and I held up City of Bones and I was like, I'm really bored with this. I was 7,500 pages in and I was totally bored. Nothing really sucked me in and I was really upset about it. I'm one of those terrible people that judges a book by its cover. If it doesn't suck me in with the cover of the book, then I will probably not buy it. But I bought this book because I had heard a lot of good things on YouTube and on a bunch of like book blogs and everything, and I'm just not like fascinated by the cover. But after I kept reading it and I was a few chapters in, I totally got sucked in and I could not put it down. I mean, granted, I had to put it down because I'm in school and I had to stop reading and put it down and then pick it back up, which was kind of hard, but I really enjoyed the story, the plotline. It was really great for me. And because I didn't have time to just sit down in like 2 days and read the book, it took a few weeks for me to finish, but the last few chapters I finished really fast. I really enjoyed it. After I learned what was going on, I could not put it down. I spent hours at night reading this book. The writing style is really descriptive, and Cassandra Clare is a really descriptive writer, and it helps the story, the plot. It helps everything about the story, but I found myself kind of skipping through some really descriptive paragraphs, which then I had to go back, because you can't do that. You have to like read all of the words to get the full effect of the story. So I liked the uniqueness of the plot. I liked that it wasn't everything that I have been reading the past few months in the YA fiction section of the bookstore. I've been reading a lot of dystopian, so I'm glad that this was set in modern day New York, and it was a really good and like refreshing feeling to read something that wasn't dystopian. I love those books, but it's a good thing that I broke it up with this series. I love fantasy, so I was easily captivated by the creatures and the way that she described all of them, and how unique the vampires and the werewolves and the shadow hunters and, you know, all of that, the fairies. It was just really nice. It was really cool for me. So, like I said before, the writing style is really descriptive, and I really like the descriptive writing when I'm comparing it to other young adult novels, because a lot of the other YA fiction fantasy novels really focus on the dialogue, and even though Cassandra Clare's dialogue is fantastic and clever and funny, the descriptive nature of the book is completely different than what I expected, and I really like how she doesn't skip a beat when she's like describing the buildings that they're in, or how a certain creature looks, or how a scenario is affecting a certain character. I like how you can't skip anything because everything ties in, and you feel like you miss something if you skip a sentence or you skip a paragraph. She does a really good job on giving the descriptive nature 50% and the clever, awesome dialogue 50%, because the story is nothing without these characters talking to each other, and they're really great characters. I really like how they talk to each other. Also, this book is full of action. If you are an action lover like I am, you can't go to a chapter and not find a different kind of action. There is Clary and Jace and Alec and Isabel fighting demons. There are total like vampire and werewolf scenes, and there's the enemy himself, Valentine, and the ending of the book. You just want to know what happens. So there's always something going on in the book. There's never a dull moment in it. Even when Jace and Clary are talking and she's learning about her past, nothing is boring, which I really enjoy. It's nice that this book has a lot of action in it, because a lot of the books that are out right now, you have to wait till the end of the book or the climax of the book to get a really good fighting action scene, and this book you didn't. You just had to return to the first page, the first chapter, first and second chapter, like a murder happens. So you get the full effect of an action fantasy novel. So like I said before, the plot is unique for me. I really enjoyed the fantasy and how it is written. The characters, I really like the characters, most of them at least. I enjoy how Clary was written. I like how it's written in third person as well, because a lot of the YA dystopian fantasy novels or paranormal romance is written in first person. And I enjoy how this is not. This is written in third person, which makes finding out more about the characters a lot easier, and also it isn't boring because of the descriptive nature of the third person writing style. The characters itself, I didn't really enjoy Clary as much as I thought I would, because she was really passive about a lot of the things that was happening. She just took in the information and was just like, okay, that's my life, and didn't really question anything. I really liked Jace's character and how he developed. I liked how he was in the beginning set on being a warrior and being brave and killing demons, and that's all he wanted to do. Jace is really cool, really badass. Clary came into the picture. He softened a little bit and saw that there is obviously a lot more to life than just being a shadow hunter. I think Clary opens up his eyes to that a little bit, and especially when they're on the roof in the garden or the greenhouse, it's really nice to see him open up. And also at the end of the book, I'm not going to give that away until the second video of this, but I'm really surprised on how he changed and how easily persuaded he was. I don't know, I don't really know how I feel about Clary and Jace's relationship, but I do like Jace's character. So with Simon, it's a little bit different to talk about, because I wanted to like Simon so badly. I wanted to root for him, and I wanted him to get what he wanted. I wanted him to be a part of the world just like Clary wanted him to. They are best friends. They had been together as best friends since they were little. And so when Simon says little things here and there, and he's hilarious. I love his dialogue. I love everything about Simon, but I don't like how he progressed into being someone bitter, and I think he just changed, and which is good. The character development is really great in him, but I just wanted him to be so much better than he turned out to be. So Isabel at the very beginning I didn't really like. I didn't like how she was hanging out with Simon and leading Simon on, but you learn more about that in the book, but I didn't really like her. I just kind of felt like maybe she was trying to get back at Clary because of Jace, but it turned out that they were more like brother and sister than anything. As the book went on, I really enjoyed Isabel. She is badass and everything that Clary isn't, which I like because there's two parallels, and even though they are so much different, they're also kind of alike in the sense that they are teenage girls in this world, and they both have things they want to stand up for, and they're both very strong-willed. Even though Clary is a little bit more persuaded and passive about things, Isabel is very set in her ways. Alec, I don't know how I feel about Alec yet because he came across really angry at Clary for taking Jace away from a lot of the things that he had always been involved with. But I guess I'm going to read more of the books. I'm reading City of Ashes right now. But I guess I really hope that I like Alec more. I just don't know how I really feel about Alec. Except for at the end, I kind of feel for him a lot more. And then there's Hodge, which I liked Hodge at the very beginning. I think that's what Cassandra Clare wanted us to feel. We liked him. We wanted to empathize with him because he was stuck at this institute. But then the end came and I wanted to murder him myself. And I was just like, why did you do that? Jocelyn, Clary's mother, isn't really in the book a lot because the very first 5 chapters she's taken from her apartment, and the entire quest is pretty much to get Jocelyn back home. Luke, I hated. I was so mad at him. I was so angry until like the last third of the book when you actually learn why he was doing what he was doing. But learning and figuring out all of the things and how all of the storylines kind of tie together is freaking me out. And then there's the enemy, Valentine. Oh my gosh, he is sick and just twisted and everything. Like I'm just having a lot of problems figuring out what he is saying. Like, what if it's not true? I don't know if they're trying to trick us and the characters. I just don't know because I haven't gotten to the second book yet. So, but Valentine, oh my gosh, he's like the ideal crazy villain, which I really enjoy. The pacing was pretty good, even though I was a little bit bored at the beginning. It's a little bit hard to get into. So my advice for reading this book is don't stop. Don't put it down. Don't say, oh my gosh, it's boring. Don't even read it on audio. Read it yourself because the voice is really good. I'm going to get into a lot of different details about the book in video 2, which I will link in the description bar below when I have it up. I would say that this book is a really good summer read. I want to read all of the books after this. I am on the second one right now, and I will be reviewing all of them as I read them, but I'm going to give this book 4 stars out of 5 only because at the very beginning I was kind of bored with it, and it took kind of a long time to read. But I give it 4 stars out of 5 because it is so great. Like, all of the fantasy aspects of the book is pretty great. I didn't really like how Clary was so passive about things, like I said, but I'll talk about that more in video 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you later. Bye!